You got this album, right?
Yes, and you should have it too. Mhm.
Hmm. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm chilling. How you doing?
I'm okay.
You
Just woke
good?
up from that.
All right.
Guess I should be glad to see another day, huh?
Yes, that part. Yes. Flynn, what's good, bro? The homie from Australia. I know he. I know how much he loved the game, and I'm like, yo, I gotta send him this link because we doing it. I thought we did this album review before, but apparently not. So we doing it now.
What's up, boss? How you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna start in about 10 minutes because I'm running low on minutes for this stream. So probably after this review is over, I might just end off the stream. So StreamYard will cut me off.
Right.
Hey, Mike, what's up? So I saw that Jonathan Majors interview he did. If I hear Coretta Scott King come out of his mouth one more motherfucking time, I'm gonna show him what having a dream really is about because I don't
Crazy.
I'm not saying that he's guilty. I'm definitely not saying that. But don't use. I hate when these motherfuckers just use civil rights icons just for fucking clout. That's all I'm gonna fucking say.
Right. You don't like that.
No, I never liked it. But I don't really think his career is over. To be real with you,
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, he's too much of a good actor to just, Hollywood stop messing with him.
I say by the end of this year, he should be back on strike.
Right.
But I don't
Man.
understand how these black entertainers, they go. I don't understand these black entertainers that go to white women, but then when they get in trouble, now they want to have a black woman in their arms. I don't
You
understand
saw
that
what
shit.
happened to OJ. You saw what happened to OJ.
Right.
You saw what happened to Ray J.
Yep.
You know, like, if you get into trouble and you looked at as a Hollywood, so he messed up, and this is what's happening now. But like his talent is too good to just let's get rid of him forgot forever. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's not gonna be like canceled forever.
Trust me, Mel Gibson has done worse. Other motherfuckers have done worse, and they still getting movies and shit like that too. How many motherfuckers got accused of this whole sexual harassment shit, and they still doing movies? But I'll wait. Let's try to fix this camera. All right, we're gonna start in about 7 more minutes. TT's Universe, what's up? What's up? Q, my day was alright. It wasn't really anything special, to be real with you. What about yours? Oh, there he is. You
I
good?
don't know what happened. Yep. The minute I said Will Smith, then StreamYard want to cancel me.
Oh wow.
Mm.
What else is going on? So I think Kevin Hart's ex-wife is going to go to tour with Cat Williams and shit.
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer
Why?
extended her restraining. Kiki Palmer extended her restraining order against Darius. Okay.
Right.
Oh, thank you so much for the on this day in hip hop based on your story. Thank you so much for that. Find that album.
Yeah. Smith from Western, man.
Did you see the movie review we did last night? The Acrimony movie.
Yeah, I did what you all did. I didn't watch the film. I'm not a Tyler Perry fan like that, but y'all did your thing.
Appreciate it. That's when my energies. My energy's gonna be very different this year. That's all I'm gonna say. So no lawyer wants to take my
That's good.
case. No, no lawyer wants to take my case for this stupid car.
They didn't want to take your case.
No, I'll text you more about that. I don't want to go in live with that
It's
shit.
messed up. Okay.
We could take any case and shit like that, but no, when it comes to my case, no one wants to take that shit. So I told him, what if I ran your ass over? Well, how would that feel?
Mhm.
Oh, that's another thing. Before we start, this whole Color Purple rollout, everyone's just been talking shit about, the black actresses not getting paid a lot, and then you have Taraji B Henson pretty much talking
Mhm.
about how they had to get rented cars. They wanted to make her get a rented car just to go to the premiere or some shit. I was like, and it's not, and the movie's not even doing that good in the box office from what I looked up.
Right? Because why would you want to remake The Color Purple? That made no sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody
The
wants
voice
to
is
remake
good.
something. Hey, Kavitz, I was actually just about to send you this link too.
Yeah, they just announced another remake today, man.
Which remake?
Why?
What's the other remake they're
The
doing?
Blob. Remember that one?
I never seen the original, honestly.
The the Blob. The original one I saw. Yo, I just mentioned the original one last week when we did the first part of Mike's movie list from the 50s. That one, and then I saw the remake in I think that was like 87. Now they doing another remake for the same damn film. Why? Nobody asked for another remake of the Blob. It's not needed. You know what I'm saying? It's not needed. So it's like the movies are trash now, yo. Another one they doing for what? It's not needed. I don't get it. I do not get it. The Gladiator 2 is coming out. I think this year that's coming out.
I'm ready to start whenever you are. But that's crazy though. All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. What's up, you two? How y'all doing? It's your boy Reg in the building. I got my homeboy Try with me, light skin Jordan, whatever.
Was it good?
What's good? So on this day in hip hop, this album came out. Smith and Wesson's The Shining. I mean, this album came out January 10th, 1995. What was the label this shit came out with? Oh, Rec, which was under Nervous Records. You know what I'm saying? This
Mm-hmm.
is part of the whole boot camp clique. This is actually the second album. This is actually the second album from the boot camp clique. You know what I'm saying? This came out right after Black Moon's Enter the Stage. Smith and Wesson consists of members Tech and Steel, who actually ironically made their first appearance on Wax on Enter the Stage 2 on the song Black Smith and Wesson, which I love that fucking record.
Yeah.
As much as I love Black Moon's Enter the Stage, I feel like this is the album that really solidified the boot camp clique. You know what I'm saying? Because like you guys gotta remember Enter the Stage came out like in '93. And while it did do good, it wasn't really like the commercial. I mean, it was like not the strongest commercial wise. And then of course, with Nervous Records trying to play Black Moon, Black Moon kind of had to like temporarily break up and everything like that too. So while they were like in that weird state, that's when they wanted to formulate like the boot camp clique super group and everything, which has like the Helter Skelter, Smith and Wesson, OGC, and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? And this album came out, and it was just like a fucking juggernaut of an album. This was known for songs like Bucktown. Well, that was actually my introduction to Smith and Wesson. I'm not even gonna hold you. You
Same.
know, Soundboy Burrell. Oh my God, I love that record. Wreck Time, Stand Song. But if I had to pick like some of my favorites, Hallucination, Shining, Wipe Your Mouth. Oh, I love that beat. You know what I'm saying? I love that beat. You know what I'm saying? Not a bad track on this album. This is actually maybe my second favorite Boot Camp Click album, next to Helter Skelter's Nocturnal. Do you have any memories on this album?
I love it. 5 Mic Classic. The Beat Minus production was great. What they were building at that time was special with Black Moon coming out first, and then Smith and Wesson and Helter Skelter, OGC, that whole crew. And like I said, like when you think of rap duos that they feed off each other well, everybody says Styles and Jada or Red and Meth, but they forget about Smith and Wesson. You know, Tech and Steel is one of the best at that. You know, like a lot of their classic songs or based off of the mic play between them back and forth, and you know, Bucktown was like the anthem over here. That was great. You know, when that came out. You know, Soundboy Burial with a Storine Wonder from OGC and Top Dog. They killed that joint. You know, Rectom. What else? The one song that I wish they had on the album was Nothing Move But the Money. And I know that was like a B-side that came later. That should have been on the album, but that whole
How many
album
rap?
is
I'm
huh?
sorry, go. I'm gonna let you find my fault.
Now I was saying like that song should have been on the album, but I think it fit with that album. You know what I'm saying? But everything on it was great. You know, Session at the Doghouse and classic album.
How many rappers have that making move with the money, making moves with the money kind of
Right.
song and shit like that?
I
You know what
mean,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
it was that was like the title phrase, like a popular title phrase for like people's songs. But I mean, they had one of the best ones to me. You know what I'm saying? And they still doing it now in this era, and I can't wait for what they drop next.
Definitely, definitely. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I actually did like the Cocoa Brothers album. The second one, I think it was like the Rude Awakening.
Yeah.
I like that one. I'm not even gonna hold you. It's not touching The Shining,
Now.
but compared to other boot camp click affiliates, next to Black Moon, they probably had the second strongest discography, if you ask me.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think that's by default because you know Sean Price and Rock breaks up. You know, Sean goes solo. Rock goes with DJ Lethal, but he didn't come out with nothing. Then he comes back into the crew. OGC ain't put out shit since the second album. I've been saying this for years. I don't know why they're not releasing anything. Well, at least solo wise, Storeen should have been had a solo career. You know what I'm saying? So I think by default, when you see how different of artists and affiliates of Duck Down, what happened to them, they got the best discography after Black Moon. They might have the best one over Black Moon, I want to say. Yeah,
Really?
that after Black Moon's two albums, I didn't care for anything else they came out with, but I think Smith and Wesson got the best discography in
Wait, hold
Boot
up.
Camp.
So
Sean
you
Price.
didn't like Total Eclipse?
It was okay. It wasn't great.
I actually like that
Sean,
record.
Sean Price and Smith and Wesson have the best discography for Duck Down. You thought it was
Oh,
great? I mean, we never reviewed that album. I
I know.
remember hearing it, but I wasn't. I don't think it's on the level of Enter the Stage. I think Warzone is
Oh
a
no.
solid sophomore album.
To me, I feel like Black Moon has one of the most consistent discographies in hip hop, in my opinion, and shit like that. Because I actually love the Warzone album
Yeah,
a
that was good.
lot. I actually like that more than Buckshot's
Yeah,
BD Thug,
BD
which
I
we
thought that. Yeah.
definitely have to
Mm-hmm.
discuss that second wave of boot camp shit. Because
Right.
I did say I was gonna do that at some point, but yeah, man. I know that Smith and Wesson did some shit with Pete Rock too a couple years back. That shit was pretty
That
cool
was great.
too.
That's what I'm saying. Like they were still making heat in the 2000s, 2010s, and Black
Yeah,
Moon wasn't around. I mean, Black Moon came back a couple years ago, recently, but it's not on the same level as Enter the Stage.
yeah. One more
You
question. What did you think of Buckshot's collab album with KRS One? Like it's called like Survival Skills.
Survival Skills was dope. That was a dope album. I was surprised to see Karis on. I mean, for that one project, he was on Duck Down. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. They signed Be Real to like a one album deal. He put out this solo album, Smoking Mirrors on Duck Down, and you
I
know
forgot about
they they had Static Select at one point. Like they were getting like well known artists on their label. You know what I'm saying? Like Sean Price held it down for them, but they had other artists as well that they were signing to deals or whatever. But any album that Buckshot was doing at that time was phenomenal. Like the Keras One joint, and he had like the couple of albums with Ninth on it that was phenomenal, and they were doing it.
it. Definitely. But yeah, that second wave of boot camp is definitely gonna come. Probably after I go on my little hiatus, probably. Okay. So the album that we're going to talk about tonight is going to be The Game with his debut solo album documentary. This album came out 2005 on Aftermath, which was under G Unit, which was under Interscope. This is actually his only album he came out with on Aftermath and G Unit, which
Yes.
we'll talk about that in a minute. Um, yeah, and there's a reason why I did not talk about the game's music, which we'll
Yep.
get into that in a minute. So Singles album is known for West Side Story, How We Do, Hated to Love It, Higher, Dreams, and Put You on the Game. Producers include 50 Cent and Dr. Dre. They were the executive producers. Buck Wild, Chief Vicious, Cool and Dre, Danger, Eminem, Focus, Havoc, High Tech, Jeff Basker, Jeff Reed, Just Blaze, Kanye West, Luis Resto, Mark Batson, Mike Elizondo, Needles, Scott Storch, and Timbaland. Guest appearances include 50 Cent, Faith Evans, Marsha Ambrosius, Tony Yayo, Dion, Eminem, Nate Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Busta Rhymes. All right, so we're finally going to talk about the game and everything. And there's a reason why I have not talked about the game's discography because I don't have no game albums and everything like that too. And it's not, and
That's why.
and honestly, too, a lot of his albums are kind of hard to come by where I stay at. Not even gonna keep it a buck, and I'm not gonna hold you. Musically, he's definitely one of my favorites. His discography, for the most part, is very good. It's like at least about maybe 4 or 5 albums I can actually call like either range from excellent to classic. But sometimes his antics sometimes just
Yeah.
get on my nerves. And again, I like to separate the music from the art, from the person, and everything like that too. But not saying that everything that he's done, he's been he's been starting shit. But because there's been other factors too. But it's just like when it comes to when I do these reviews by these artists, I like to really just at least get maybe a solid no less than 4 albums from a particular artist, just depending on how many albums that they came out with in their discography. And like I said, I don't have no game albums. I almost got a copy of Doctor's Advocate, but they sold out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Convince the name is the name drops for me. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that. But we'll talk about that. I'm gonna mention that too because I have shit to say about that as well. But I'm gonna get more in depth. I'm gonna ask Try how he got into the game.
I heard about game. Thing was on the internet. It was something that I think when after 50 had gotten signed and he blew up, and they were like Dre had signed some new artists and then adding them to G Unit. But I didn't hear him until I want to say maybe like a freestyle or something he did, and then they added him to G Unit, and people over here were like, "Well, who the hell is Game? Like, how is this gonna fit with him and G Unit?" And I thought he was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even remember the freestyle. It was so long ago. I remember he was freestyling. Like, he had like some freestyles that was out, and they signed them and said added him to G Unit, and you know, 50. We hear later that 50 was like doing songs on this album for us. And, I just thought he was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, minus the beef or whatever he had with 50, I just thought he was a dope artist. And the album come out when the album came out. I was at the Virgin Megastore when I used to be open in Times Square,
Mm-hmm.
and they were playing it. And at this time they had like the headphones where you could like listen to the album before you buy it. So I was at the Megastore when it came out, and they were playing Run If That Generation Is Still In, because he know how much I hate Tony Yayo. Like I don't like him. I think he's whack, but that's the best feature he was on, and they were playing that. Yeah, hearing it. Yo, I'm hearing static right now.
Yeah, I was gonna text you about that. I was gonna text you. Say something right quick.
Are you going to come back in?
Yeah.
I'm
Come back in.
from YouTube.
Yeah, come back in and everything. I'm gonna say my thoughts on the game and shit, how I got into it, and then we'll see what's going on and shit.
All right.
I swear, StreamYard. I swear to God, you just. Anyway, how I got into the game, I'm not gonna hold you. I actually got into the game from the Doctor's Advocate era. The song "One Blood" was playing on BET at that time. I think it was like either Rap City or 106 and Park, one of them shows. That was when BET was actually worth watching. Now they show like Tyler Perry movies 24/7, but that's neither here or there. So yeah, what was I about to say? He's definitely like he definitely got my attention because I can't even talk today. He got my attention because of the fact that he was definitely bringing that like that West Coast that and this is the way I want to just draw my attention to, because he's always noted for bringing the West Coast hip hop back as a dominant form and everything like that too, because at that time I think like after Death Row kind of they waned down and stuff like that, and then have the death of Tupac Shakur, and then of course with the South just blowing up and everything like that too, people just thought the West Coast didn't really have a lot to say and everything like that too. I mean, yeah, you had your Snoops and your Exhibits and your Corrupts still doing their thing, what I'm saying? Snoop at that time was really getting more into his pop culture bag, his acting and shit like that too. You had like a lot of other West Coast acts that pretty much stayed on the underground level and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Prime example, you had motherfucking Quasimodo, which you guys now know as Madlib and everything. He was dropping he was staying consistent in the underground, with the Unseen and doing shit with Jay Dilla and everything like that too. And then you have your Blacklicious, you know what I'm saying, your Dilated People, your Jurassic Fives. Q said Ice Cube. Well, Cube in the early to mid 2000s. Yeah, I'm not gonna count the West Side Connection terrorist threats and everything like that too, but he was mostly in his acting bag by that time as well too. You know what I'm saying? And with all due respect to Ice Cube, I feel like his best period was from America's Most Wanted up into the West Side Connection Bow Down album. You know what I'm saying? Even though I did like the Raw Footage album from 2008, I personally felt like he was in his acting bag by that time. And stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? E40 too. E40 definitely. You know what I'm saying? But the hieroglyphics, you know what I'm saying? People Under the Stars. West Coast was pretty much more on the underground tip and everything. And Kaveh said Q got whacked by the mid 90s. So you didn't like the West Side Connection Bow Down album? Too Short, but Too Short, he was always at that time he was kind of flirting with the Southern hip hop style as well too. You know what I'm saying? But back to the game, it was just the fact that for one, he was signed to Aftermath Records, and two, he was like under like Dre was mentoring Eminem and 50, and by that time Dre, M, and 50 were like the three-headed monster. They were just killing motherfucking shit. You know what I'm saying? And so here comes the game. Here comes the game. Pretty much, just bring that West Coast, that premier gangster shit back and everything like that too. And as much as I love, the Odd Futures and Kendrick Lamar's, the Top Dog Entertainment, and so on and so on, he definitely did really spearhead the West Coast back to like a national hip hop scene and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So I can give him his love for that. Now, before we actually get into this review, I do want to get to the name dropping, which seems to be a recurring problem to a lot of fans when they want to talk about the game's impact to hip hop. First of all, I have a couple things to say about that. Hold on. Hey, try. You good? Can you can't hear? Shit. Hold on. I'm gonna resend it. I'm gonna resend it. That's weird. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me well in the chat? Just letting y'all know. Well, of course y'all can hear me because y'all just in the chat, but just to have a name count. But first of all, I do feel like people get at him too much about the name dropping. Yep, I said it. I fucking said it. Because let me be real. People act like as far as the early days in hip hop and everything like that too. People act like niggas don't have not been name calling shit. You know what I'm saying? You have people from the Beastie Boys up into the Far Side. Hell, even your Biggies and your Pops, they name dropped here and there. Another thing I have to say, and this hell might even sound like a contradictory. I don't, as much as I don't mind it, I do admit he does do it a lot too. Now, case it forward. And I feel like he does it a lot. Hold on. I'm gonna text try saying that I sent it. And the reason why I say that because of the fact that the earlier albums, I'm not gonna hold you like Documentary and Dr. Advocate, you know what I'm saying? Which, by the way, Cavase, if you down to do Dr. Advocate next week, you're more than welcome to come. You know what I'm saying? And there were like times where he will drop like 3 or 4 names and he'll drop like 2 bars or some shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? So I see it more as just him showing love. I would rather take name dropping than people bashing like a dead rapper or just a dead icon, like bashing dead icon and shit like that, but weren't saying this shit when that person was live. You know what I'm saying? So that's here or there. But after we've talked way too much, and I did say I was on a limit. So for those who don't know who the game is, he was a rapper that was born in Compton, California. You know, his parents, raised him, and they were members. They were definitely members of they were pretty much Crips and shit. You know what I'm saying? And when he was growing up, he was caught up in that gang culture and everything like that too. But he ended up becoming a blood and all that shit too, which he talks about that a lot. Talks about that shit a lot. So stay tuned on that. You know what I'm saying? And so when it came to like the early 2000s, he actually got shot in 2001. You know what I'm saying? He actually got gunshot wounds and everything like that too. And that was around the time he was slowly getting into hip hop. That was the times he was slowly getting to hip hop and everything like that too. And he had told his brother to get him a lot of rap records so he can listen to that shit because he wanted to get out that culture and shit. You know what I'm saying? So this led to him and his bro actually forming a label and everything like that too. And the label had like a lot of West Coast acts like Glass Malone, Vita, and so on and so on. And he actually got his stage name from his grandma. And his grandma was a fan of this movie called The Game that came out in 1997 and everything like that too. And so pretty much he had hooked up with WAC 100 and everything. And then that he actually performed, and stuff like that in this like summit that was hosted by Russell Simmons and Louis Farrakhan and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And so he had dropped his first mixtape, You Know What It Is, Volume 1 in 2002, which that actually not only did it get him a deal with Get Low Records, but he almost, believe it or not, I don't think a lot of y'all know, he almost signed to Bad Boy Records. Yes, you heard me. Thank God he fucking didn't. Thank God he fucking didn't. But we've already known about this shit for years and stuff like that. But let's move on. So Also around this time too, at this time back in 2002, Dre heard the mixtape and everything like that, and he wanted to reach out to the game to come by so maybe we can work on a deal to sign to Aftermath Records and everything like that too. So they talked and everything. Hold on. They talked and everything. They reached a deal. He had met like Jimmy Iovine, and Dre wanted him to work with like 50 Cent and G Unit. Also around this time too, G Unit was thinking about expanding to different regions because this is around the time they had Young Buck in their crew. With G Unit consists of members 50, Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo. They added Young Buck. Y'all should know I'm not the biggest Young Buck fan like that. Keep it a buck with y'all and shit like that too. But he does have some dope shit in his album and stuff, But we talked about that shit years ago. Um, yeah, I think try. Let me check on Try after I do this shit. So yeah, so here's the thing though, you know what I'm saying? He was working with 50 Cent and everything, and he was pretty much gonna be like the West Coast aspect of G Unit and shit too. And so he was pretty much being mentored by them for about 2.5 years and everything. And around this time, after Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 was pretty much one of the biggest rappers in the world and shit like that too. He was on fire at that time. You know what I'm saying? Which we've all talked about Get Rich or Die Trying. We already know how that shit goes and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And so he was working on he was working on the Masquerade album and shit. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much a lot of songs from the documentary were originally supposed to be 50 songs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Which that's pretty much just follow with me when I tell y'all this and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much, it was also like around this time, 50 at the time, I mean not 50, but the game at this time, he was slowly getting into like a lot of beefs and stuff like that too, which mind you, a lot of these beefs happened before the nigga dropped his debut album. That's the shit like that. That's the crazy part. You know what I'm saying? And at this time, he had pretty much got into issues with like Memphis Bleak, Lil Easy E, and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I think he had gotten an issue with Rascast around this time. You know what I'm saying? So he had like a lot of moxie. He had a lot of moxie and shit. But it was just like him just wilding out. And the original title of this album was supposed to have been called "Nigga with an Attitude Volume 1," which he did mention that on the song Dreams. You know what I'm saying? Which I can't wait to talk about that song and shit too. You know what I'm saying? So and then he dropped his first promo single, West Side Story, which was like a love, an ode to an ode to West Coast hip hop and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, he was working on this album and excuse me, and also like around this time, his album was highly anticipated. And fast forward to January 18, 2005, this album came out. Now, Try's pretty much on his way. He has the album. I'm gonna wait till he gets here and everything like that too. He's still fixing up the sound. Let me read the comments right quick. Kaveh said, "Nah, was that into the Dub CQ?" Yeah, if you refer to West Side Connect, that was the first West Side Connection album. Gangsters Make the World Go Round, Bow Down. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what no one said. That's a classic album to me. I pretty much bump that album literally like once a month. It's so fucking. I wish. I know there's got to be more unreleased shit from that album and stuff like that too. Terrorist Threats was good. That was a good album. That actually grew on me. It's not touching the Bow Down record. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not touching the Bow Down record and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like it's slightly underrated. And that's coming from somebody who's not a fan of a lot of Q shit from the 2000s. Q said the name dropping does not bother me either. I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like I said, people definitely name drop these days and shit like that too. Hella lot. You know what I'm saying? How many motherfuckers was name dropping fucking Al Pacino and Scarface? I'll wait. How many motherfuckers was fucking mentioning themselves as as like a character from Carlito's Way? I'll wait, but it is what it is. This nigga says almost like a condition. Convey some fucking done. Shit. Yeah, man. Yeah, well, I'm still waiting on Try and everything. We go back up. Cruz said Doctor's Advocate got some joints. That's my favorite game album. Like I said, I mean, yeah, man. Like, I feel like he just really went in on that record and shit too. Like, it's crazy. Yes, crazy it might sound. It definitely sound like it still had a little bit of like aftermath game, but at the same time, he was coming into his own with that one. You said he has a song with Jaz-O. I haven't. I don't think I've even. Is that the song where they were dissing Jay Z? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you said the doc is definitely his best work and shit like that too. Hell yeah. Now who saw the fucking Vlad TV interview with the game and shit? Cause that shit was long as fuck. I think I lost. I mean, I think that was like 35 parts or some shit like that. But okay, he's coming back. Yo,
Y'all hear me? You hear me?
yeah, I hear you perfectly now.
I don't know what happened.
Shit.
Fucking StreamYard. Get your shit right, StreamYard. All right, we gotta get back to this.
Yeah. You can just show the album cover and like what
I
the.
was saying when I got into game,
Oh.
yeah, like they added him to G Unit and the album, the single dropped, what it was, How We Do dropped, and I was banging and yeah. Oh, I was at the Virgin Megastore. Yeah, when the album dropped, I'm like, yo, I gotta get this album because I was hearing songs from it, and How We Do had came out. I think Dreams that came out after. I forgot what was the single after that. It was Out of Dreams or Hated or Love It, and then it was just dope. You know what I'm saying? And then you started to hear that he's like he bought the West back. Like, you know what I'm saying? I started to see that a lot. He bought the West back, and since Pac died, the game bought the West back, and this is before Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? And it was I don't know. I liked them, but I mean, I don't know. I still don't really know what happened between him and 50. I used to hear all kind of rumors that him and 50 they were like butting heads. They were I guess gaming like the what 50 was doing or whatever, like him handling the album and shit, and he wanted out, and then it's like while they were feuding, like Dre was caught in the middle, and then you would hear like, oh well, Dre, Game not going nowhere because that's Dre's artist, and even though he caught in the middle, Dre gonna side with Game, and Dre siding with 50, and Game is gonna leave, and it was crazy, like the amount of shit we used to hear, and then when we started hearing like the G Unit mixtapes, man, he was like going at Banks and Yayo and everybody on G Unit, and that was just crazy. It was just some crazy shit. You had the incident at Hot 97 with the shootout. And when that happened, and Game is like, well, 50 not really living that life, because if you are, why you got all this police security around you? You know what I'm saying? And I remember when that shit happened, and it was just crazy times. And I was during like the mixtape era, you know what I'm saying? So um I thought it was a great album, and Game definitely did his thing. He really the only one that left G Unit and was like successful. Like he already showed people he didn't need 50. Like and 50 used to say like, "Oh, I'm gonna be eating off of this nigga for off of his albums and shit." But Game, with every album, Game was successful. Like he didn't need that G Unit, stamp of approval. And I think Dre only put him up, down in G Unit to like, I guess get some buzz for him or whatever. But I mean, they didn't know him because they didn't grow up with him. You know what I'm saying? 50 was the one that grew up with Banks and Yayo, you know what I'm saying, in Queens. So they didn't know a game like that. You coming from another part of the country, like on the West Coast to G Unit, and I think maybe that was it also. Like he really didn't fit in with them. You know what I'm saying? Like probably with the same thing that happened with Young Buck. Young Buck coming from Tennessee, and he goes to G Unit after being with Juvenile, and he didn't really know them like that. So you see like with certain members why shit didn't work out with them, because
Right.
they didn't grow up with 50, and so they don't know them cats like that.
Right.
They looking at them like, yo, like this is, if you in the fraternity and you a new member in the fraternity that these members has been there for mad long, they looking at you like you the new kid on the block. Who the fuck is this cool? Is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta be on tour with this dude. I don't know his habits. He don't know mine. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was part of it also. But Jimmy Iovine, he not stupid. You know what I'm saying? He see dollar signs and he's like, yo, if it don't work out with Game, he just gonna leave G Unit and be his own artist, and that's what he did. So, and still, we see the result of that now in 2024. He just came out with an album with a big hit. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So
But I was going to answer your question because you say you didn't know all the details to why 50 and Game beefed. Because
I used to hear internet shit. Like I had a homeboy that was into like heavy into G Unit. So every time they come out with a song or album or gossip, I'm hearing it from this dude, and he's telling me like, "Yo, Dre's caught in the middle," and people saying he don't know what to do, but he gonna keep Game because that's his artist, and Jimmy Iovine want him, and but it's gonna cause friction with Dre and 50, and then Dre's gonna side with 50, and they're gonna. I'm like, I don't care about all that. Just
right.
give me the music. Like I don't care about the drama, and I don't know what happened. I'm guessing that's what happened was,
Well,
50 is a strong-willed guy, and so is Game. And Game probably like, yo, you're not gonna call no shots. You ain't calling the shots. I'm my own artist, and I want out. I don't know. So I want you to explain it.
okay. So because I'm planning on talking about Doctor's Advocate maybe next week, but just in the basis of this album, there was like little instances where it's like the Game was already getting into issues with like a lot of other rappers, and pretty much 50 kind of thought like he was kind of wilding at some parts, and 50 did an interview talking about the reason why he was brought in to work on the documentary was because it was almost about to get shelved, and Game had to go on another interview to rebuke that issue, and a little bit had to do with the fact that, and there's more to the story, but I'm just gonna keep it on the basis of this album and shit like that too. That with 50 giving some of his songs to Game, and Game, he felt like Game was not really being loyal as a way, because there were times when he would be say he was cool with Ja Rule. He was pretty much saying he was cool with 50's rivals and stuff like that too. That is a lot of shit
Right.
to the story. It's definitely, but those are like the main factors as of now as this album. But
Yeah, but I mean, if you that's the thing I don't like about this clicking up and shit, because once you click up with somebody, it's like you inherit their bullshit.
it be,
That
yeah,
got nothing to do with it. If Game is cool with Ja Rule and he cool with the Locks and Fat Joe and whoever else 50 was beefing with, why does he have to throw himself in that beef? To show loyalty? that doesn't make no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you automatically inherit that person beef because they got problems with these people. Oh, well, I ain't fucking with him because I ain't fucking with him, and if you fucking with him, I ain't fucking with you. And bro, we both have experienced that just being on the podcast. When people ain't on the podcast ain't fucking with so and so, and they're like, oh well, if you fucking with him, we ain't fucking with you. I think that's whack. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If people had an issue with Reg, and I'm in the middle, I'm gonna talk to that person like, yo, if you got an issue with Reg, that's your issue with Reg, not mine. Reg is the homie. I'm not gonna turn my back on him because you got a problem with him. You and him, iron out that shit or leave me the fuck alone. I don't want no part of that. That's between you and him. And I went through that already, as you already know. So you know what I mean? I just think that shit is whack. And if that 50 is petty for doing shit like that. We
Right.
know that he's petty. He's doing that shit right now on social media with different people. You know what I'm saying? Like he's petty. So if that has something to do with it, I can see why Game and him had an issue. I don't think Game is going to be the type to do no petty shit like that and even play his type of petty game where he got a beef with people that he don't got no beef with.
You got a point, though. You got a point. But you show the album cover and the liner notes and all that shit.
Oh yeah, yes.
Oh,
I love this album cover.
I love this album cover, man.
I love this shit. Yeah, this is fire. The all white background and shit.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, man. This album. Definitely fire.
Love it. Interscope was always great with the album packaging and shit.
Oh, most definitely. Notch. Most definitely.
You know what I mean? They give you like the best album covers, the best album packaging, bonus DVDs and shit with it. I love it, man. Who was fucking with them at that time?
Yeah, they were definitely on fire with all the artists when it comes to that shit.
Definitely. Definitely.
So this album has 18 songs. It's 9:16 right now. So yeah, that'll give us. We'll definitely be done before 10 o'clock for Mike's stream. So definitely. All right. So track number 1 is the intro. This was a little short intro that was produced by Dre and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? It's been said when it comes to this intro that Dre actually spent a month trying to find a spoken word sample that pretty much summarized how that pretty much fit the game and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like the most impressive Dre shit, you know what I'm saying, but it definitely sets the whole tone and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying. And even Game to this day don't know where exactly he got that sample from, you know what I'm saying. So I don't think a lot of niggas know that shit, but yeah.
I love the beat for the intro. I think Dre should have been the one doing the introduction for Game, being that it was his artist. It was part of I believe it was part of his idea to put him with G Unit or Jimmy Iovine, and he should have been introducing this album. When I throw on this album, and if you never heard Game before, and this is his debut, when you throw on that album and the intro come on, we should hear Dr. Dre's voice on here. That should be how the album opens up, with Dre introducing his new artists, because he made superstars out of his new artists, whether it was Snoop, whether it was the Game, 50. Well, 50 blew up on Aftermath, but we knew 50 before he signed. The Eminem, whoever, Kendrick, Anderson .Paak, he made superstars out of his artists, and I wanted to hear Dre's voice introduce the intro. The beat was fire. I just felt like Dre should have been introducing it though.
You're right about that. Definitely. I definitely see your point about that. All right. So track number 2 is West Side Story, which was the first single off this album. Probably the first time the national mainstream audience heard the Game. Very dope song. Yo, I never knew that Dre sampled Houdini's Freaks Come Out at Night for this track right here and stuff like that. I never knew that was a Houdini sample.
Yeah, that was
And
hard.
yeah, definitely. So pretty much a little trivia. It's been said that game this song was almost on the see this was kind of confusing because Game said this was supposed to have been on the All About the Benjamin soundtrack, but
What?
that movie came out in 2002, and he wrote this
Right.
song in 2002, and all the reports say he recorded it like in '04. I mean, somebody might correct me if I'm wrong and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely one of the songs that 50 Cent said that he wrote for this album and everything like that. And that's another thing too. You can add that to their list because Game has even went on record saying that 50 didn't do shit, but we'll talk about that. I swear my head hurts just thinking about this beef. But yeah, he's pretty much just giving his love to West Coast hip hop already from the get go. You know, giving love to Nate Dogg, Tupac, which I think Tupac like his main influence and shit like that
Yeah,
too. You know, definitely a very 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 dope track. One of his signature tracks, if you ask me.
I love it. This sounds like old school gangster Dr. Dre on the beat. It had that gangster beat to it, the piano chords, the bass line. You got 50 on the chorus. You got Game paying homage to Pac and West Side Connection saying, I got California love fucking bitches to that Pac shit. And West Side Connection been had it. Lock bitch. I love that. And he was always great representing where he was from. That's what he's supposed to do, especially as a new artist. In gate and you a label in this one, you got that backing by Dr. Dre. You less supposed to let people know where you from, and he did that, and it was a banging track. I can't see this on All About the Benjamins. I went to see that movie when that
Yeah,
came out, and I don't even remember half of them songs on it, but I don't think it would have fit on that soundtrack though.
I don't like that
You know what I'm
movie
saying?
honestly.
I mean, only if they put it on there, it was only because Ice Cube was the star in that film. Because if you watch the movie, the setting is in Miami, so you know what I mean. It would only be because Ice Cube was a part of that film.
Yeah, to me, I think that what saved the movie was the chemistry between Mike Epps and Q. But I feel like it was like a
Yeah,
rejected Friday 4, and they wanted just to put it on a different title. I feel like it was an abandoned Friday script, if you ask me. A latter Friday script, if you ask me. But again, the chemistry between Cube and Epps was always made it work and shit too. But that's not really one of my favorite movies. I'd rather watch Friday After Next than that one, and that's actually saying something. Um, Track number 3, Dreams. Another one of my all-time favorite Game songs. This is actually dedicated to the older half sister of Serena and Venus. Um, the, what's her name? What's the fucking name? Tunde Price and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but fuck it. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. This is actually one of the songs that actually got my attention from him and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? If there is one song that pretty much describes the legacy of Game's name dropping, this is the perfect song to start out with. You know what I'm saying? I first of all, I love that first verse. I'm not even gonna hold you. When he said, "I woke up off that coma
uh-huh.
2001." By the same time Dre dropped 2001, 3 years later the album was done. Aftermath presents Nigga with an Attitude, Volume 1. Rap critics politicking, want to know the outcome. Ready to Die, Reasonable Doubt, and Donkey Style in one. I feel like Pac after the Snoop Dogg trial was run. Dre behind the G series and all eyes on me.
Huh.
And that verse, he was talking about, when he got shot and he's listening to all these rap albums to change up his life and
Yeah,
everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Again, more name drop. I love the line when he also says, "But anything is possible if 50 fucked Vivica. Hurdle life's obstacles, found my way through the maze. Then joy turned to pain like Frankie Beverly and Maze. Used to dream of being unsigned hype." Like that shit kind of reminds me of like Biggie's Juicy verse. That first verse,
right.
not now you talk about like you want to have like a lot of
Yeah,
dreams and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? And the third verse, it's pretty much just a sum up of the first two verses, if you ask me. So this is definitely a hip hop classic. Kanye definitely did his thing on this beat too. It don't even sound like a Kanye beat from this period and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? But
It don't.
him and Kanye definitely did a lot of work with one another. So fucking classic.
I love it. I think definitely a great song. You know, Kanye when he was old Kanye, when he was still sane, the percussions on it, the beat. And yeah, like you said, like he was doing a lot of name dropping on this and referencing Illmatic and Chronic and Maya. We said I had dreams of fucking an R&B bitch like Maya when I saw that ass on the front of that King. Read the article in the magazine. She loved gangsters, loved nasty things. So I'm in the glass house having nasty dreams. I actually used to have that Maya issue. I had a homeboy that he was getting like the subscription, like he had the King subscription, so he would get all the magazines, and then when he was finished, he would like pass it to like his peoples or whatever. So I had that Maya issue or whatever, and she always looked good. You know what I'm saying? So that was a reference to that, and you mentioned 50 Cent and Vivica. Everybody know about that, and it was a great song. Like it do remind me of like of Juicy, the Juicy joint, and it was like a rags to riches type of story. Even with Big, when being on the block selling rock in Brooklyn, that Big was doing, and then signing the Bad Boy and blowing up. It reminded me of that. It was like a coming of age type of story, and it was classic. That's a classic, record from Game.
Definitely a classic record indeed. Um,
Yeah,
Next track, "Hated or Love It" featuring 50 Cent. Not even gonna hold you. It's actually my favorite track on this album. To be real with you. Um, Another single from the Game. I think this is like a lot of people's favorite single from this album. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Just everything about this song is so classic. The fact that Cool and Dre and even Dr. and with help from Dr. Dre did this beat, like,
Mm-hmm.
you all know I'm not the biggest Cool and Dre fan like that, but y'all just watch the Fat Joe discography breakdown for more information. But this one right here was just one of the best hip hop songs I've ever heard, in my opinion, and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it just showed the great chemistry Game and 50 had. That period of G Unit. It's like one of the songs that make me that getting my attention the first wrong. You know what I'm saying? Not even gonna hold you. I felt like 50 had the best verse with the first verse. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing about it is
Yeah.
he didn't really want to drop a verse on this song at first for the album. That's the crazy part, So but he had to do some convincing, and this actually might be one of my favorite 50 Cent verses he's ever came out with. You know what I'm saying? I love the lines where he said, "I want to live good, so shit, I sell dope
Right.
for a finger ring. One of them go roast. Nana told me if I pass, I get a sheepskin coat. If I can move a few pegs, I get the hat. And that'd be dope. Tossed and turned in my sleep that night. Woke up in the next morning, niggas, I stole my back. Different days, same shit, nothing good in the hood. I run away from this bitch and never come back if I could." I mean, that's definitely one of his most personal and positive verses he ever came out with. Like, Game definitely did his thing. Now you're gonna hold you. But I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I felt more 50's verse than the Game and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then I love pretty much the third verse when 50 was doing the bridge, and then Game ended off that shit too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is just a hip hop classic, and it was actually nominated for 2 Grammy awards. It was nominated for Best Rap Song, but it lost to Kanye West's "Diamonds" from Sierra
Mm-hmm.
Leone, which, I mean, I can't argue with that. That's from Late Registration. I really can't argue with that. And it
That was
also
alright.
was
That was alright.
where that the song.
I never cared for that single though. It was okay. I don't think that was one
Oh,
of Kanye's best It's the
You
best
are
joints. Oh, over
bugging.
this
Come
is better than that Kanye joint. Nah, this is better
I
than that
respect.
Kanye joint.
I mean, I feel like it's neck to
You know what
neck.
I mean? The
Cause maybe
remix with
because
the remix with Jay was
I'm
better.
Tino
I
Leone.
didn't really care for like. Oh Lord, come on.
What? What? What?
I
But I
mean,
agree. The
it
remix,
was okay, but I mean, over this, I think this Hater or Love It is better.
shoot. But I do
You
admit the
know,
remix with Jay-Z is great though. I love the remix. But
the
yeah,
remix
but
was cool.
also it was also nominated for best rap performance, but it lost to Black Eyed Peas "Don't Fuck with My Heart," which I'm like, what?
What? What?
Okay, let me see the
See,
other
the Grammys
nominees for this
fucking
one.
up. You see? You see?
Hold on.
This is why people don't support the Grammys. They never get it right.
The other nominees was Common, "The Corner" from the B album, which love that
That was
song.
fire. Yeah.
Eminem, Dre, and 50 Encore. Wow. And Ying Yang Twins' "Wait the Whisper" song.
Wow. Damn,
Which
some real trash
wow.
who were nominated. Some
Man, I will pick Ying Yang Twins over that Black Eyed Peas song. I'm gonna be keep it a buck with you.
some trash. Oh man.
Yeah.
They got
Anyway,
robbed. This was clearly the best record in that category. Black Eyed Peas is dope, but they're not it's not better than this shit. Not better than this shit.
I agree.
No. They got it wrong. Kanye West joint was cool, but I like Hater Love It more. It was just a better record,
Uh,
you know.
ooh,
I
it's
don't
crazy.
even
I
think
never.
it's close. I think it's just a better record than any of those other joints. Eminem Encore was nominated. Come on, come on, man.
Oh
Encore?
shit.
Nothing from Encore should have been nominated for anything.
You know the
You
Grammys
know,
loved Eminem. You
I
know.
mean, they got it.
Hmm.
I love this. I love this record. This record was classic. Like when you hear this record, it reminds you of Marvin Gaye. Like Marvin Gaye could have sang over something like this. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
agree.
the beat was soulful. You know what I mean? And the bass line, everything about it, the horns on it, it had like a 70s soulful like R&B sound to it. And 50 Cent killed it on the chorus, he killed it on his verse. And I really believe this was 50's song for Massacre, and he gave it to
Yeah,
Game. This was
I
like
agree.
50 featuring the Game. You could tell the 50 handprint is all over this song. There's a couple songs on here where his handprint is all over it. And I'm like, you could tell the songs that were for his album that they gave to Game. But this was a classic record. And this is why people don't fuck with the Grammys, because they got it wrong that year.
Got you. All right. Next song is called "Higher." This was another great song too. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much this was another song where he's pretty much just saying how he wants to bring the West Coast back to its prominent form and everything too. You know what I'm saying? So shit. So yeah, very very dope song. Another Dre and Mark Batson beat right here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of funny too because this song dates itself when Dre told the listeners look out for Detox, and yeah, that part.
This song is fire. I love the beat for it and the piano chords. And you got Game saying hip hop's worst nightmare. Mr. Gangsta Rap is back in Black Nike is. Love that. Those lines. And it's a solid album cut.
Definitely. All right. Next song we got is "How We Do." I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you at all. When I first heard this song, I didn't really care for it, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? This also features 50 Cent, by the way. You know, and it
Mm-hmm.
was mostly to do with the beat. Like it was mostly to do with that beat, like ding 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 ding. Like it sounded like some shit I would definitely hear like Nelly do or some shit like a pop rapper would do or some shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? But then over the years, I came to like appreciate the beat a little bit more.
Yo.
I came to like appreciate the beat. But I like lyrically, I've always liked the song. Yeah, so lyrically, I've always liked the song and shit like that, you know. And
Right.
pretty much what had happened and everything like that too. Spit Game was like listening to some beats from Dr. Dre. It was like about 30 beats and everything like that too. And he pretty much he pretty much heard this beat and he saw Game writing to this one and everything like that too. So Dre thought it was missing something, so that's when he wanted to get 50 on the hook and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? This came from the Game
Right.
himself. But yeah, man, this one was alright. It was alright song.
This joint is fire. It's definitely something that when you throw it on in the club, they're gonna bump to it and cook out and party anywhere. It was just that dope. The beat, the bass line, Dre had his signature chords on it. 50 on the chorus, and I love it. This was dope. This also sound like something that could have been on the Massacre, and they gave it to Game, and it was like they just had chemistry. Like even though they were beefing, Game and 50, like if they had put out an album, that shit would have been crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. I think it's a classic record.
Definitely a classic record. All right, so next song is Put You no, excuse me, Don't Need Your Love featuring Faith Evans. Very, very, very dope track right here. This was actually produced by Havoc and everything. And Dre, he did this thing, he touched it up a little bit after Havoc finished it up and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? This one was actually pretty straight, you know what I'm saying? Pretty straight, Game talking about his life growing up and everything. I like the tribute he gave to Mossberg, who was
Yeah.
DJ Quick's protege. The story with him, he got shot. I think he got shot like around the time, like maybe the early 2000s and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. No, I definitely love this track right here. I feel like it's one of the more underrated songs from this album. And Faith Evans did a thing on the hook. Oh, a little trivia.
Yo,
This
that
song was
when we
actually
did that DJ Quick. No.
I forgot to say sorry about that, but this song was actually recorded the first day
No.
he signed to Interscope Records. So that's a little trivia right there.
Wow. When we did that quick breakdown, like listening to that Mossberg album was crazy. We had like we got some
I
beats on
know.
that album, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame that he never reached his full potential. And I love the fact that Game, gave him a shout out on here, and he said, "I was forced to live this life, forced to bust my chrome. My pops left me in a foster home. I felt abandoned like quick now that Mossberg gone. So I don't hop out. So I don't hop in the SS without the Mossberg homes." And love that. The beat was fire. It don't even sound like a Havoc beat. It don't sound like nothing Havoc was doing around that time. It was like '05.
Yeah.
It don't sound like nothing he was doing for Mobb Deep at that time. It just sounded like a different beat, and then you had Dre. I hear more Dre on the beat than Havoc. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm
it was dope. Definitely a dope cut.
Yeah, very dope cut indeed. Um, Next track we got is Church for Thugs. Um, this was another pretty straight track right here too. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like the title to keep it a buck with you, but
Right.
I've heard worse. This was produced by Just Blaze. That at that time he was on fire at that time, man. I mean,
Just
he still does his thing. Just Blaze still does his thing. I feel like
yeah.
sometimes he gets shitted on. He gets shitted on a bit. So, um, and this is another song
I think.
where just. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, this is another song where it's an unknown sample, and Just Blaze said in interviews he was not going to reveal the sample that he did and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this one was pretty straight. Not only one of my favorites too, but it was pretty straight out, pretty straight song.
Yeah, this was fire. Definitely a strong album cut. Love the beat, horns on it, and bass line. Church for Thugs. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, some people like the title. I think he could have changed it too, but it was still fire.
Definitely. All right. Next song is "Put You on the Game." Um, this one was pretty good too. You know, another very fire track. This was produced by Timberland and Danger and everything like that too. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because they said Timberland was actually sued from this for the sample. This was around the Indian. He used some Indian sample. He was sued and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? With this song right here, he's pretty much rapping. He's doing his usual name dropping and everything like that too. And ironically, when this song came out, this was like the last single for this album. He was already on beef with G Unit and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this one was pretty straight.
I love the Timbo joint, man. This was fire. You know, we had again shouting out. He gave a mention to Pac and yeah, this was a Timbaland banger. You know what I'm saying? Definitely enjoy this one.
Definitely. All right, next song is "Start from Scratch." This features Marsha Ambrosius. This is another favorite track on this album and everything like that too. This was actually produced by Dre and Scott Storch. Wow, my favorite tracks are produced by minus Dre, produced by producers I don't really care for, like Cool and Dre. That's funny.
That's funny. The irony, right?
Right, the irony. Okay. But this is pretty much his version of "It's a Wonderful Life," if that makes sense. If you not hold on, let me. It's a Wonderful Life mixed with Groundhog Day. Just talking about how he would restart his life
I
if
never
he
heard
wasn't
that
like
comparison. I never heard that.
oh shit. If
Yo,
he would just restart his life and stuff like that and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? He probably wouldn't have gotten shot. And I don't know if you heard me when I was doing the background on the game, but he almost signed the Bad Boy
yo.
Records.
Mhm.
You knew that, right?
The game?
Yeah.
Oh my, no, I did not know that. Wow.
And he had his
Thank God.
line. He had his line when he had his line when he says, "When you a bad boy, niggas don't want to see you shine." Dre said it's my turn. He called it game time. Nice play on the words and shit, because at that time, um, Shine
Why
was in
would he want to
prison.
sign with Bad Boy? Why? Why? Oh my God. These niggas, they saw Puffy's face and they're like, yo, let me sign with Bad Boy and then I'll worry about the publishing later. Crazy.
Hmm.
I did not know that. Damn. Thank God. Somebody talked him off a ledge. Was it Dre? Was it Jimmy?
Dre.
Smart Dre's a smart man. That's why he's a billionaire. Because he saw that the true potential. If Game was on Bad Boy, he wouldn't have sold. I guarantee you, he would not have sold with this album. This would have been like one of those underrated joints that we would have been like, yo, like why this album didn't go multi-platinum? It should have been bigger than it was. Dre had the right he saw the right vision for Game. You know what I'm saying? And yo, like this is 2024, right? And if I recall, back in November or December, we saw a picture of Marsha Ambrosius in the studio with Dr. Dre, and she's supposed to be coming out with a Dre produced album. Where is the album? Again, we're still another Dre album. We're still waiting for. Where's the album?
You're still working on it.
No, they said it was coming out in December. This is January. Where's the album?
Um,
They're still working on it. That means we're never gonna get it. Just like Detox, just like the Dipset shit that he did, just like the Rakim album, the Joel Ortiz album, the Snoop and Dre album that we never got. Like everything else that's in the Dre vault right now. You know what I'm saying? I thought she was great. And remember, she was signed to Aftermath. And that then pan out, and she went off to forgot what record label she got signed to. But Marsha Ambrosius is an underrated singer, and I loved her on the chorus for this, and it had a real dope gangster beat to it. And you had the game saying, homie, if I can make 94 today, I'll tell Easy and Dre bring back NWA. I would have told Pac not to step out of London, tell Puffy and Big about the Rampart scandal. I love it. This was a one of my favorite tracks on this album. Yeah, exactly. We would have been. Remember, Boys in the Hood? They were signed to Bad Boy. What happened to them? Oh yeah, that's right. They broke up, and then Jeezy became a big, trap star. Nah, he made a great decision to sign with Dr. Dre.
Definitely. Next song we got is title track, the documentary. You know what I'm saying? Another very dope track. This was produced by Jeff Basker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Just another song where you talk about his life and just giving love to all the people who influenced him and stuff like that. I like the line when he says, "Fuck R. Kelly, I don't take it in the face. I found out who sprayed it. I'm putting you under the pavement. No Buddha priest, Catholic, or Baptist pastor can save him. I'm far from religious, but I got beliefs, so I put canary yellow diamonds in my Jesus piece." Very, very, very dope track.
What R. Kelly got to do with him?
I don't know.
Why you call out R. Kelly, yo?
And I'm trying to think. They actually never done a song together.
They
Wait.
never
No,
did
they
that.
did. They did. They did
What
on
they
the
do?
TP3 Reloaded album. Hold on. I think it
I
was
don't
called
even remember
Shake.
that. Was this before what he said or after? This is before, right?
Hold on. Let me double check. Because that album came out in July. Yeah, they did Players Only.
I don't remember that joint.
The album was not that good.
That came out before the documentary, right?
Yeah, way before.
So
On, on,
something must have happened.
honestly, if it wasn't for that Trapped in the Closet, nobody would have remembered TP3
No, but
Reloaded.
exactly. The album was forgettable. That's why I don't
It
remember
was,
it.
and the fact that he called it the third. See, J- he should just ended off with TP2.com because that's like one of my favorite
That,
R. Kelly albums.
that's the one with him like on top of the mountaintop or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember the album cover and then the Trapped in the Closet, but everything else on that album was forgettable. You know, the title track was cool. It was a cool track. It was good.
Definitely. Next song is called Running featuring Tony Yayo and Dion. Um yeah man, pretty much pretty cool track. On the original version, it was just supposed to be Game and Dion has pretty much had a longer chorus, but at the same time too, at that time Tony Yayo was going through like a lot of legal issues and stuff like that. And in order to keep his name relevant, 50 Cent added a verse so that Tony Yayo could still be relevant and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Um, whether you like Tony Yayo or not, I mean he was pretty dope on this song right here too. You know what I'm saying? But it's not really one of my favorites as well too. But this song's pretty decent.
I don't know if Flynn is still in here, but he knows how much I hate Tony Ayo. I don't like Tony Ayo. He was loyal to his boy like he's supposed to be, and props to 50 for looking out for him when he was locked up and putting money in his bank account and all that. That's a real friend. But Tony Ayo to me is not a great MC. He never been. He
No,
never will be. I don't like his first album, and I know Rap Generation love his first album. He thinks it's a classic, but I don't. I'm not a fan of him like that. But I will say, the one time that I do like Tony Yayo was on this track. The one time, and I will probably never say that again about a Yayo feature. But he fit the beat on here. Like he had a good feature with Game. I love the high tech beat. You know what I'm saying? Again, it had like a Marvin Gaye like feel to it. You know what I'm saying? And the beat, the hi hats on it, the synthesizers. Game saying It's funny how niggas be the best of friends and fall out over pussy. I want a dead dear man. One of my niggas in the grave, the other one in the pen. She fucking my enemies inside my homeboy's Benz. Now she begging God's mercy because she ain't listened to Nas and never heard about Ike with the Iris in Jersey. He got a cousin named Jason that rocked the Gabby painting. Now the same trifling bitches and HIV patient. I love his verse. This was a great song. It should have been a single. Like I said, it's my favorite joint on the album. You know what I'm saying? And High Tech don't get his props at all. He needs to be mentioned more. He's a very underrated producer, and he did a lot of stuff for G Unit. You know, when they were top, you know, when they were on top with 50, and did stuff for Banks, for this album, and this was great. This was a classic record to me.
Respect, respect. Yeah, man. Tony Yayo, like I do give respect for his loyalty, but I cannot listen to a whole album from him. I'm just gonna be real with you.
No, we tried that already. Their first album was enough for me. I'm like, nope.
Okay, 6 more songs left. Okay, we got this. All right, track number 13, No More Fun and Games. This was produced by Just Blaze. Very dope track right here. This is another one of my favorite tracks. You know, self-explanatory, just his love for West Coast artists and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Again, we have another one of Dr. Dre's Detox references and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? But look how well that went. But yeah, this was pretty good.
This was like old school meets West Coast joint. Having like the old school EPMD beat on here was fire. And you had the game saying, "I'm in the class by myself like the brown Eminem, not the down Eminem. I fuck black bitches, fuck white bitches, nigga. I like bitches. I'm half and half. Alicia Keys dyke bitches. If the head right, I might ear night bitches or put them on the track like Just Blaze. I look down on hoes and look up to Drake. I love that. Like his lines was that, and when you hear it, it sound like he taking a shot at Eminem. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like I'm listening to the drum. I'm like, yo, is he talking about Eminem? And then we find out like later on he ended up having a little beef with Eminem and shit. But this was fire. This was a fire joint, and it reminded me of like the Jacking for Beats Ice Cube joint,
yeah,
where like the beat switches up, and I felt like this was like Game's version of like Jacking for Beats. It was fire.
really.
Yeah, he
Yeah, man.
just didn't use like he didn't use a lot of beats in it though, but it was like like something like that.
If you ask me, I feel like if I had to pick one song, it might be that 300 bars and running track, that diss track and shit.
Yeah,
No, he used hella the way he was rapping over that Drake keep the heads ringing beat was ill as fuck.
yeah. He's like, oh, Kaveh said, please review the High Tech album. Which one?
Yeah, which one are you talking about?
Like, he got like there's like 3 volumes of one of High Technology. Um, I know he got another joint too.
Definitely. All right. Next track is called "We Ain't" featuring Eminem. Shit. This one was decent. You know what I'm saying? This one was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? It's probably one of the few times we hear M and Game on the track together. You know what I'm saying? This one was pretty straight.
It was cool. I felt like the beat was more like tailored for Eminem.
Right.
It was more. It had like an Eminem. There's a like back then when if Eminem either he produced or he was featured on it, like the beat sounded like it was made for him. You know what I'm saying? Like he jumped on certain type of beats. It wasn't like any type of beats he would just jump on. Like he could, but back then when he was producing shit, like he had like a certain sound that he would just like jump on his own shit. So it sounded more like an Eminem joint than anything else.
Definitely. And yeah, I forgot to mention she did produce this track, and
Yeah, it had
y'all
that
know how.
Eminem sound.
Yeah, and you know when it comes to Eminem's production, I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah, I'm
I
not a
like,
fan of either. Like not of every. Well, Renegade to me is his best shit. That's the best shit that he ever produced to me.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? Like now, and he did do like the majority of Eminem show, which was a classic. But again, it's like I'm gonna reference the Redman. God damn it! Once again, without Eric Sermon, Redman would not have no classic album. Without Dre, Eminem would not have no classic album. The Dre get for the majority of his career, the early great shit that he had, that was all Dre.
Right. Okay, what's the next song?
Where I'm from.
Where I'm from, featuring Nate Dogg. Very dope song as well too. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very G Funk influenced with this track. I feel like this was a perfect song. Nate Dogg did his signature chorus and everything like that too. It's still a shame that he passed away the way he did. It's still a fucking shame and everything too. You know what I'm saying? There will never be another Nate Dogg. Why haven't I not talked about his album, The G Funk Stories, yet? Why haven't I not talked about that
No
shit?
idea, because you wanted to talk about every goddamn Ja Rule album in this discography. You know,
Because I think Ashley likes that album too. Let me double check.
why? That's what's up. We got to get Ashley for that then. You know, I like it. I thought it had like a gangster beat to it, and you got Nate Dogg on the chorus. It was dope.
Definitely. Next song is Special, and again featuring Nate Dogg as well too. I guess you got a 2-for-1 deal or something. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. Um, but yeah, this is actually a love song, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? A love song and shit too. Yeah, this is a pretty cool song. A pretty cool song. I guess this is what his gangsters need love too, because at this time every hard rapper had to have the one love song and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But you know me. You know me. I don't mind a good hip hop love song as long as
Right.
these motherfuckers are not whispering with the LL Cool J. I need love. It's kind of shit. But yeah,
It was cool. I mean, it's not no 21 questions, but it was alright. You know, it was cool.
definitely. All right. Next track we got is "Don't Worry" featuring Mary J. Blige. Another favorite song of mine. You know what I'm saying? This is another kind of like romantic kind of song. Okay, you have two Nate Dogg songs, two love songs. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Now this was pretty much his 21 questions, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because there was some similar lines. I'm not gonna lie, there was some similar lines to 21, like a similar vibe.
Right.
I should say. You know what I'm saying? And ironically, 21 questions had Nate Dogg too. So,
Right. See.
but the game had Mary J. Blige, the queen of hip hop soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like in Mary J. Blige's contract how, I think no. I love Mary. I love Mary. But I think like any rapper if it's a rapper's first or second album, I think she has to
Mm-hmm.
like appear
That's a
appear on
must.
it.
That's a
That's a
must.
must. Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely.
Especially around when the 2000s hit
Yeah.
too. You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying?
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a pretty straight song.
Mary is such a queen. She's such a legend that as an artist, you gotta have Mary on your first album or your second album. At some point, if you're a rapper or even an R&B singer, you gotta have Mary J. Blige on your album. And this to me was like Mary featuring the game. Even though it's on the game album, this is a Mary
Mhm.
J. Blige track. This is
Right.
like a hip hop soul track with some gangster sprinkled on it. That's what it was. Because this easily could have been on any Mary album. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's the respect that they have for this woman at this point. Like she has to be on your album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That has to like if you have any feature on your album, I don't care who it is, Fabulous, Jadakiss, Beanie Siegel, whoever, 50, she got to be on your album. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. I love the beat. You know the way that the track starts off with the hi hats and the beat, and then like the pianos come in and Mary singing and it's just Mary. If he dropped a video, it would be Mary featuring the game. But the only way you could get the song is on a documentary. I loved it, and Mary has done work with Dre in the past. She was on Chronic 2001. You know, she was managed by Suge Knight, during the Death Row era. You know what I'm saying? It was great. She Family Affair. Dr. Dre did that. One of my favorite Dre joints ever. Again, another album we supposed to get Mary J. Blige and Dr. Dre. We might never get that. We might never get that. You know what I'm saying? At this point. But this was a banging track. Game is basically talking about like when he's locked up and how he wants his shorty to hold him down while he's in prison. And it was fire. He said, "I'm locked up, counting the days down, trying to hold my head because the penitentiary ain't no playground. I'm dying in here, and I don't know how you stay down at the shooting range twice a week, busting that trade pound. And I would never ask you to wait around. But how do you like white sandy beach and the Sandro Pay sound? And ain't no more out of town trips on that Greyhound. Just me hitting like a beat from Dr. Dre out." And I loved it. I think like his flow was on it was just fire, and it was more toned down because it was like a love song, one of those hold me down love songs. You got Mary on it, and this should have been a single because it's one of my favorite songs.
Right. I definitely agree with you about that. And the last song is like Father Like Son featuring Busta Rhymes. This was produced by Buck Wild. Next to Hater to Love It, this is actually my favorite track on this album, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? First of all, that beat from Buck Wild with the strings and
Yeah.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about Buck Wild I've always loved, whenever he works like with a new artist, he definitely adds like a different style and flavor. It's not like the same beat you hear twice. So
Right.
that's definitely one of the things I love from Buck Wild. And this was actually dedicated to his son, who was actually born 2003 and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this actually was a very, very, very dope song right here and shit. Busta Rhymes is pretty much just only on the chorus and everything like that too, which it's kind of crazy because I would have definitely loved to
Yeah.
have heard. This is another song with Busta's on the chorus and a beat that he
On
could
the
have rapped
chorus.
on.
Right.
Yeah, or at least he didn't appear on the outro like Capone
Right.
Noriega the driver's seat and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, and I forgot at this time Busta Rhymes was also on the Aftermath at this time because the Big Bang
Right.
dropped
That's
the
right.
next year.
That's right.
You know, to me, one of his best albums in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That shit aged like fine wine. If only he would have stayed in Aftermath, but no.
Right. He wouldn't have gave us that shit he dropped last year. You know.
I just want like one more Aftermath album, just
Right.
one more Aftermath
Yeah.
album, but
Yeah.
that's neither here or there.
He probably was low key clashing with Drake, and he wanted out. You know, Dre's a perfectionist, and you hear about the artist stories with them and Dre and how they clash. Rakim clashed with them, and I believe it. The Eve wanted out. You know what I'm saying. So I
Well,
think that's
actually,
why.
it was Jimmy Iovine he clashed with.
Oh, he's clashing with Jimmy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah.
Mhm. Buster, I don't think Buster would have been my first choice for the chorus though. It would have been somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But it was dope to have Buster on it, but he wouldn't have been my first choice. But I mean now you see why they did it because he was on Aftermath. Getting ready to drop his album on there, so that makes sense. But I mean the Buck Wild joint is fire. I like the fact that Buck Wild could work with East Coast artists, West Coast artists. Like he had his range is crazy. He did shit for Bad Boy when he was fucking with them at one point, and did shit for Babyface. Like he could work with anybody. OC, Big L, Babyface, The Game, Funk Dubious, like legendary producer. I love the beat. It was the strings on there was nice, a nice added touch on that, and to close out the album with this song and Game talking about that's his firstborn child,
Yeah.
and that's the baby that he's holding on in the album, and um he said, "I'm popping Chris with your godfathers, Baron Davis and D Mac Darius Rogers. Drop the top on the 71 with my face in the clouds. Lord spare my son and watch over Aaron Wright, Tiana and Little Pun, Low Rod and Bumping Ready to Die, track number one. Classic track. A great way to end the album.
Definitely. So overall, this is the classic album from the game, in my opinion. I feel like this album to me definitely shows a. Let me word this out right. Let me word this out right. It definitely showed the powers that G Unit had at the time. First of all, and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that. Too, you know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to like the G Unit legacy, you know what I'm saying? People sometimes forget that this album was still on a G Unit empire
Right.
and everything too. Lyrically, I feel like Game definitely they gave a very great performance on this album. I love certain tracks, where he was talking about his life. I feel like those were the strongest tracks on the album. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the name dropping, if I have to really talk about that, was very, very, very on point too when it came to this record. So I definitely feel like this album is a hip hop classic, dare I say. I'm gonna give this 5 mics. I feel like it's a very great song. Even the songs I never really cared about a lot, I
Right.
still will not let it temper with me.
I think it's definitely a great album, and where Chronic and Doggy Style left off, the documentary picked up and continued that classic gangster rap sound with the production, having, not only Dre, but having, High Tech and Havoc and other producers, you know, um, put their ingredients into this soup and having, like you said, G Unit was just a legendary crew and great times during the mixtape era when a lot of people wasn't even buying albums no more. It was mostly about the mixtapes and to get this album with 50s influence on it and the joints he jumped on was fire and it made it whatever Gina was coming out with, we were checking for. So whether it was a West Coast artist like The Game, a down south artist like Young Buck, or an artist from Queens like Lloyd Banks and Yayo, like we were checking for, and 50 would just had a brilliant mind to he knew how to promote his artists and put them out there with Interscope and with Aftermath and Shady and you know the features on here was a nice added touch. I don't feel like none of the features overshadowed the game where like when we see like features on other people's albums they get overshadowed by that artist. But having features from 50 and Mary, and you know Tony Yayo's on here and it was just a great debut album for the game from start to finish. So many joints he could have came out with as singles. West Side Story was fire. Don't Worry was one of my favorite joints. Running, Hated or Love It, classic record. Dreams, classic record. This Is How We Do. I think it's 5 mics. I think it's one of the best rap debuts ever in history. Like
I,
top
I
10,
agree.
top 10 easily from any era, from any region. It's nonstop. Every track is a banger. There's no skips on this album for me. Like none. You know what I'm saying? Like that. This to me will always be my favorite game album. I know people love Doctor's Advocate was fire. I think I got to go with the documentary though. I think is that's a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? So if I feel like if this was released back in the Death Row era, it would have been top three Death Row albums ever, right up there with Chronic and Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? So everything, the sequencing was great. Everything about it was a masterpiece.
I agree. Definitely. All right, so I'm actually gonna end off this video off right here, so we can get ready for Mike's podcast and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So Saturday, I want to say Saturday at 8 p.m. I definitely wanted. I'm going to do that. October London album, The Rebirth of Marvin, which I've not heard, but I
Uh-huh.
I have a lot of controversial things to say about this artist. That's what I'm going to say. Because even the title alone, I kind of have some issues with. And next Sunday we're gonna do the House Party 3 soundtrack. That'll be the finale of the Kid and Play breakdown, which kind of went by very quickly too.
It
So
did.
yeah. So I really cannot wait to talk about that one. Also next week we're also gonna do the House Party 1, 2, 3 breakdown and everything like that. So I really cannot wait to do that one. And next week is gonna be my last week before I go on a little break. So yeah. So expect some good ones next week. Anything you have to say?
I just dropped the IG live on my channel today that I did last Saturday with the homie Gun Ethics. Check that out. We talked about the mixtape era from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. I showed off some mixtapes. I mean, he's coming back on my channel. We're gonna do another live stream. And what else? I'm doing some other shit next week. Next week I'll announce the other stuff. But check that out. That IG live stream.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
There was something else I was gonna say before we head out. So as of now, the collection video is still looking like late March, but if I can get a certain issue fixed by this weekend and just save up some bread,
All right.
because originally I was supposed to have gone collecting this weekend, but shit happens. But it's all good. It'll give me more time to save some bread up and everything like that too. Because I did get a new job. I might get another new. Actually, I got another new job to go training to that next Monday too. So
Nice. Congrats.
appreciate it. So I'm just trying to get my shit together. Also trying to drop a new single. Hopefully sometime in the first quarter of 2023. I'm gonna do a little bit more touches on this project as well too. Just a little bit more touches.
All right.
Should be good to go. Other than that, hope you guys have a good night. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.